What's going on, everyone? Happy Saturday. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy, having a great day so far, and I really hope you are testing negative for all those viruses. It is time now for the Saturday edition of the Virus Update for Saturday, September 20th, 2025. If you are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the daily virus update on all those viruses that can make us sick. Let's face it, there's a lot of viruses out there, and you need to be informed of what's going on with these different viruses. That's where I come into play. I give you the latest news, data, wastewater. Hey, tomorrow's Sunday. We'll be doing Wastewater Sunday tomorrow. I give you anything I can find to keep you safe and informed of what's going on. Want to stay informed? Just subscribe to my channel down below. Give this video a thumbs up. Hit that notification bell. Share this video with anyone you know. And of course, leave your comments down below. Alrighty, we do have several things in the news category for today that I want to go over. Some things may lead to some things from a few years ago. It will all make sense to you. Then we're going to take a look at EMS calls, like we always do. And we are going to take a look at the data from the CDC that we didn't see, and the New York State data, which we also did not get to yesterday because that came in a bit later in the day. And then we do have some new data from CJS, though I think we're going to save that for tomorrow's video. Okay? Starting off with this, in Italy, COVID continues to rise. Infections and deaths have increased in the last week. Remember, we showed you Italy's dashboard earlier. Well, this may be even more up to date than that dashboard. From September 11th to the 17th, reported cases 3,692. And here's what's bad about that. That's an increase of 30.7%. Reported deaths, 21. That's up by 90.9%. So deaths are starting to go up. I know it's only 21, but hey, we're in 2025, and there's many people that think COVID's no longer an issue. Well, guess what? People are still dying of COVID in Italy. Who remembers when the early days of the pandemic, Italy was like one of the initial hotspots? Yeah. Positivity rate there, 12.7%. That is up by 2.9%. Yikes, that's not good. All right, now we move on to this piece of news, which is kind of a two-part thing. First off, Steve Martin and Martin Short's show in Richmond was canceled. You know Martin Short, very good friend of Steve Martin, and of course, obviously you know who Steve Martin is. Maybe you don't. Actor Steve Martin unfortunately had to cancel a show, but you might wonder why. You know, usually we see illness, this or that. Oh no, they actually said Steve Martin has come down with COVID. Yikes, that's not good. Now, you may recall, if we go back in time, let's head over to my website. We're going to take a little time travel here. There's a search feature on my website. You can type in Steve Martin, and, well, you will get 3 different results, but 2 of them are only for Steve Martin. Here's the deal. Back in a few months ago, I believe it was back in, when was this? They had the SNL 50. Yes, I believe it was back in February. They had SNL 50. Well, Martin Short had COVID at the time, and, well, a whole bunch of other people ended up getting COVID at that. And there was also rumors that Steve Martin was sick. We don't know if Steve Martin had COVID back at SNL 50. I haven't been able to find anything other than news stories saying, oh, yeah, Steve Martin was sick as well. But it never actually said the words he had COVID. Now, if everyone else was sick with COVID, we can only assume it was COVID. Then we go back to September 24th of 2023, or on or about that date. Steve Martin's crew, you know, he does the banjo. His crew had COVID, and it's possible Steve Martin had COVID there. So we know he's had it at least one time. How many other times has he had it now? Honestly, I cannot answer that question, but to say the least, Steve Martin now has COVID, and he had to cancel one of his shows. All right, moving on to this. More celebrity COVID news, yes. Kourtney Kardashian unveils bold new look while, quote, suffering from COVID. Well, it's not the first time that she's done something while she's dealing with COVID. Oh, no, this is just totally ridiculous, and she even makes the hint that she's had COVID several times. Well, we know of at least one other time. Let's go back to this, and when was this? Back in 2024. The morning of my baby shower, I woke up and tested positive for COVID right when I was about to start getting ready, she said on The Kardashians. So apparently she still went on with her baby shower back in 2024 while dealing with COVID. When are these people ever going to learn that, COVID's a viral disease and you spread it onto other people? Make it make sense with all these celebrities. I mean, there's simple precautions we could take. We could prevent these infections, but we just do not do that. All right, moving on to this. Youngblood has been forced to cancel show due to illness. Offers free beer to apologize to fans. Now, I gotta tell you something. I do like rock music. I like a lot of different types of music. I'm not well educated on this particular performer, and his apology is, here's some free beer. Go get drunk. Go get drunk on me. Like, okay. I mean, and get this, his show is supposed to be right here in my city, Philadelphia. Well, if you've been following my channel, you know Pennsylvania right now is up to moderate levels. I don't know, are we going to get to high levels? It's possible, but there is some good news up there in Happy Valley, which is Center County, Pennsylvania. There's no Penn State game this weekend, so they get a bye week. That's helping us a little bit. They get a much bigger game next week than they've had all season. That could be really crowded, especially if they get the extraness of ESPN showing up, which is a possibility. All right, moving on now. I got to share this with you, Mike Horger. COVID is on the forbidden word list, and people think these conversations about funding long COVID research are serious. Yeah, get this. So there have been this whole panel they had about the vaccination. Now they're talking about long COVID. Apparently, it's a possibility. I may have mentioned it here on the channel before. I may not have, and if I didn't, this will be the first time. Word has it, I've seen several sources now, so I'm okay with saying this. Word has it, RFK Jr.'s son is dealing with long COVID, from what I have read and heard. And, well, apparently they're trying to talk about long COVID. Okay, that's nice. They want to have the talk. It's good. Why is COVID on the forbidden list then? I mean, it's totally ridiculous. And you're seeing it say here, no forbidden words found. Actually, if we go back, Mike Horger has submitted for several grants and different things, and there's other things that say forbidden words found, 100 something. Yeah, it's totally ridiculous that we have to suppress the word COVID. And you know what? The algorithms are doing it on social media. I know it's happening right here on YouTube. I mean, look at our views. They've been trending downward as of lately. They used to follow the waves. I honestly don't know what happened this summer. And I actually put a poll question over on X. Do you think it's okay for algorithms to suppress the word COVID? 2.7% said yes. 97.3% said no. And that's out of 147 votes with still 20 hours left. I'm sure that is going to get more votes. And the majority of people think no, it is not okay. I don't think it's okay either. I think it's totally ridiculous that the algorithms are doing this. Queensland. Measles outbreak is growing after confirmed in rural town Middlemont. So, yes, things are continuing to grow, and it looks like there are now at least 12 measles cases in the past 6 weeks. I know, nothing like Canada's outbreak, the United States, but hey, an outbreak's an outbreak. It really shouldn't be happening at all, should it? All right, moving on to this. In South Dakota, I believe we're talking about now. Yes, in South Dakota. Over 400,000 turkeys killed in response to South Dakota's bird flu outbreak. Ducks identified as carriers. I actually saw another silly article that said, deport the ducks. Okay, yeah. I mean, how silly, but yeah, bird flu. We've been talking about this for a few weeks, saying the migration south may become a problem, and it is doing just that. If you're going to go out bird watching, maybe you're going to be up close with birds, consider wearing a mask. I know it's something I'm going to be doing just a little later today. I'm going to go out and look for some birds. Yeah, you got to do so safely. You got to be masked when you do that, especially if you're near large flocks of birds, because you know what? We do know that this year there have been human cases, and there have been a couple that we cannot figure out just how they got infected. How a couple of people. There was that California case that they still can't figure out how the person got infected. All right, taking a look at what's going on with Canada's COVID. COVID-19 is moderate in wastewater. Flu A is low. Flu B is low. RSV is low. That is in wastewater. All right, speaking of birds, let's take a look at this. Let's refresh this. Take a look at today's, see how many birds migrated to the south, and you're going to see it's in the hundreds of millions once again. Take a look at this. It goes all the way up to an over 500 million birds. Matter of fact, 550 million birds migrating to the south. Look here. High migration, so I'm hoping I'll see something this afternoon. maybe add a few more birds to the app I have on my phone. You can actually record on your phone now, bird sounds. I think that's really cool. Is it called the Marlin app? I think it's called. It's really neat, and you can actually have a library or archive on your phone of all the different birds that you have heard. All right, moving on. We have much more important things to talk about than the migration of birds. Air quality, that's pretty important, and there are still a lot of bad places for air quality. Washington State is getting bad once again. The East has gotten a little bit better, unless you're in the Southeast. Some oranges there, but Washington State, reds and purples showing up once again. Taking a look at what is going on when it comes to EMS calls in Florida, we do see here that there are a few sick person calls, but overall, call volume is down this weekend. That is some good news. Philadelphia is still running hot. 851 EMS incidents. Hopefully over this weekend it ends up being a little bit lower. Here's a live look at Montgomery County. 14 incidents right now. That's about normal for a Saturday. And you do see, several of them are listed as vehicle accidents. Chester County, it's going to look a little higher than it actually is. You're seeing a lot of EMS ST. I believe that means EMS standby for, Saturday sports activities, whether it be soccer, high school related football, any of those things. If that did not exist, it actually wouldn't be that busy in Chester County. So I'm starting to get a little bit more confident that Pennsylvania is either near peak, peaking, or somewhere in that area at this time. But again, tomorrow we get Philadelphia Eagles. That's a big super spreader. Next weekend we get a big Penn State game. So even if we start to drop, I don't know that it's going to be a quick drop in Pennsylvania. And we're seeing our neighboring state to the north, New York State, is still having a problem. We'll show you that in a moment. Hey, the hospitals are better today on Saturday. New Jersey hospitals, how about them? What's going on there? I believe there was just one hospital with a problem. Okay, that hospital is not dealing with that problem anymore. Very good news in New Jersey. Yeah, New York State, see what I'm talking about? Look at that. The cases are still going up. Tested positive, 1,212 cases. And then when we take a look at this, the hospitalizations did hit a wave high, 472 and 40 people in the ICU. The wild card remains. Will New York State hit 500 people in the hospital? It is very well possible that New York State does that. Let's take a look at this. New York City hospitalizations, though. Yeah, they went a little higher on Friday, but overall they did not hit a wave peak like New York State. I think it's other parts of New York State that are dealing with a problem. And with that problem, there's a lot of wastewater sites in New York State that are not updating. Epidemic trends. You can see New York State's one of the states still growing. Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. Likely growing would be Vermont, New Jersey, North Dakota, South Dakota, and I should also add, it's a little hard to see here, Delaware is still listed in the growing status. Everywhere else is not changing, likely declining, or just not estimated. All right, taking a look at what's going on with the wastewater trends nationally. Hey, wastewater on the national level peaked. However, there are still a couple states that are dealing with problems. New York State, obviously, is one of them, though. The problem there, and I'm going to actually show this to you, the problem there is it's hidden. It's a hidden problem in wastewater. And you're probably going, what are you talking about? Why is it hidden? Well, if it ever decides to load up here, you will see more than 75% of the wastewater sites in New York State. There's Alabama, still very high. Take a look at this. More than 75% of the wastewater sites in New York State are gray, meaning no data. If this was all turned on, I question, would it still show up moderate? Will we see it starting to drop? I honestly can't answer that question. Also, since we're on this, I believe it's New Mexico I have to show you. No, it's somewhere out in the west. Maybe it's Nevada. I think it's Nevada. New Mexico, you're not doing bad, but again, you don't have much wastewater. Nevada doesn't have enough wastewater sites, but look at this. You're listed at very high, and we actually have to zoom this out to all results. Take a look at this. Yeah. That's the highest wastewater level on the state level that you have ever recorded. That's pretty bad. Yeah. Alrighty, folks. We'll take a look at some more wastewater sites again tomorrow. We'll do those numbers from CJS tomorrow. Wanted to keep this a shorter video. I don't know that it's going to be a busy news day tomorrow. Also, why we're keeping that for tomorrow. Again, let's go back for a second. Yeah, Steve Martin dealing with COVID. COVID is making its rounds in the celebrity world. This is kind of a good reminder though the United States has peaked, and let's go back to wastewater, though the United States has nationally peaked, you just saw Steve Martin tested positive. What does that tell us? That even on the backside of the wave, what goes up has to come down. And how fast it comes down remains to be seen. While we're coming down, there's still a lot of COVID cases. There's equally as many cases on the backside of a wave as there was on the front side. And well, if cases don't come down very fast, guess what? There may even be more cases than there was on the front side over a period of time. And of course, there will be future waves. We'll see a winter wave. So please continue to take precautions because things are still bad. I mean, the South is dropping. You can see that here on this map. Texas is now just high, not very high anymore. But some of the Northeast and the Midwest still not doing great at this time. And even with the South dropping, Florida's still very high. Out west, you have California. You saw Nevada. Nevada just hit a record high number of COVID. Hey, maybe you know someone going to Las Vegas right now. Tell them. I saw on this channel on YouTube, Data Report, they showed COVID in wastewater from Nevada. It's really bad. Maybe you should be careful when you're going to Las Vegas. Yeah, you might want to tell them that. Alrighty, folks, I will see you all again tomorrow. If you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, and leave your comments down below. Until I see you again tomorrow, stay safe, everyone. Have a fantastic Saturday afternoon, and thanks for watching.